If you grew up in between 2010 to 2015, you might have ran into a mobile or even PC game, and apparently it was on the Xbox as well, called One Finger Death Punch. I remember playing this on my booger-infested iPod Touch, and all I can remember is fond memories when I think of that game. That's it. I forget everything else. But when I was scrolling through Steam for some games to play, I ran into something which put me on nostalgia relapse. One Finger Death Punch 2! One Finger Death Punch 2 is a stickman beat-em-up, I said beat-em-up, not fighting game, which released in 2019, and man, was this game a pleasant surprise. It's the pinnacle of simple yet fun and addictive gameplay with just the press of 2 buttons. You have your left button and your right button. You fight waves or random stickmen and beat them up, pressing either the left or right button depending on which side you want to attack and how close they are to you, basically defending yourself. You also use these inputs to handle projectiles, engage in random quicktime events, and pick up weapons, in their corresponding direction, of course. And that's it. That's all. In all seriousness, with such simple controls and fairly simple enemy diversity, with enemies just having little multi-hit side mix-ups or boss and brawler events, this game adds just enough gameplay to keep you entertained. There's an endless survival mode, but the story mode throws levels at you which mix things up. Of course, you have your regular mud round, but then there's also Perfection, Death Zone, Multi-Round, Horror Show, Bladestorm Defense,
Ball of Death,
Deadly Target, Jesus Christ, and the Power Weapon levels, which all have different goals. My personal favorite is the Chainsaw Power Weapon. That's not even all of them. I either just haven't got to them yet or forgot about them. That's how many game modes there are. This game was definitely built to be a sort of spectacle beat-em-up fighting game. No, I'm still not talking about you, shut up! Like, the screen gets so hectic with stickmen and projectiles that it's just fun to look at and play in. Like, tell me what's going on here. The skills that you have don't make it easier on your eyes as well. There's a simple skill upgrade area which just lets you upgrade these random flashy powers, having random stuff pop up each time they're up. You breathe fire, breathe ice, get an extra gun, bow, and throwing ammo, random mini-games like the horse or the throwing stance, a ground pound, these random insta-kill moves which I don't even think are part of the skill tree, slowing down time, stopping time, whatever the hell this is. And some of these are straight up stupid, man. Like, what does any of this have to do with Kung Fu? There are literal guns in the game, and it's so absurd that it's just so fun and it works. It's just dumb fun. I can't think of anything else to say, man. The game is pretty straightforward. It doesn't even have lore except for just a couple of amazing cinematics. Despite how I keep claiming the game to be simple and chaotic, there's one reoccurring minor theme in this game which I think has some commendable depth, being that the game reminds you to not button mash. It makes it very apparent at the start of the game. No, seriously, boot up the game and go through the tutorials, this is literally the first thing you see on your screen. I think this is pretty clever, because as simple as the game is, it teaches the player some sort of discipline. No matter what situation you're in, like this, it tells you to stay calm and not button mash. Furthermore, in actual Kung Fu and martial arts, there's a huge, mental component in these things. Finding patience, thinking methodically, training the mind and the body, stuff like that. And I feel like the no button mashing warnings kind of attempt to reflect these values, since it is established that we are performing Kung Fu. A discipline to not lose your tempo, your focus, and your patience. But yet again, I don't know how valid any of that is with the breakdancing and the laser eyes. It's just a thought. Not saying it's a problem, though. I genuinely don't have complaints about the game. Yeah, it's super simplistic and one-dimensional, but I really appreciate that. That might be coming from a biased perspective, since I grew up with the first game in dojo animations when I was younger, but I feel like every game nowadays just takes the soul out of you and it's just so draining. This is just a simple, minimalist, good game, and that's why I love it. And you should too. Also, I lied, I have a complaint. I know the game is 4 years old now, but please get rid of Deadly Target. That shit is fucking ass.